It's the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
We're driven by the search for better, but when it comes to hiring, the best way to search for a candidate isn't to search at all. Don't search, match with Indeed. 93% of employers agree Indeed delivers the highest quality matches compared to other job sites, according to a recent Indeed survey. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/podcast. Just go to Indeed.com/podcast right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? You need Indeed.
My son had a gift with technology. With reliable internet at home through the Internet Essentials program, the world opened up. He's part of this next generation of young people who feel they can thrive.
Through Project UP, Comcast is committing $1 billion to help open doors for the next generation with the connectivity and skills they need to build a future of unlimited possibilities.
We back. It's the Tuesday episode of the Locked On Fantasy Hockey Podcast, and we have everything covered. On today's episode that you need to know, especially, are the Winnipeg Jets in trouble? We'll break it all down on today's show.
You're Locked On Fantasy Hockey, your daily podcast on fantasy hockey. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is going on, hockey heads? Welcome back inside the lab to your daily source for fantasy hockey news and degenerate gambling breakdowns. It's a Locked On Fantasy Hockey Podcast. I'm joined, as always, by my esteemed co-host, Mr. Steele Roden. On this side of the microphone, it's your boy, Big Flip Livingstone. Shout out to the everydayers, holding us down, making us your first listen every single day. Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. Steele, these Winnipeg Jets starting to look like they might be in a little bit of trouble. 3 straight losses doesn't mean the sky is falling, but at this time of year, and you're going up against the teams that we love the most out west in the Dallas Stars and Colorado Avalanche, we got to talk about it. We'll start there. We're also got to get to Alex Ovechkin. This is special stuff because he's closing in on someone named Wayne Gretzky. My goodness me, and now the Washington Capitals are cooking. Reinhart, Hyman, 50 piece a piece. But who is the second best goal scorer in the NHL? I'm liking this conversation. After Austin Matthews, who is it? We'll talk about some names, updates for the Florida Panthers, Tuesday's bets. Right over to you, brother. What are you looking at here? What are your thoughts? Because I know this was one of those angles that you and I talked a lot about at the start of the season, and you weren't really buying into these Winnipeg Jets. So what are you thinking about them right now?
Yeah, well, I had the Winnipeg Jets missing the playoffs entirely, so I was wrong there. But I don't think it's time to hit the panic button for Winnipeg Jets fans or Winnipeg Jets at all. But they have let the top spot in the Central Division slip through their grasp. They lose 3 in a row. The Colorado Avalanche have won 9 in a row, and the Dallas Stars have now won 4 in a row. And it's not getting easier for the Winnipeg Jets over the next 2 games, where they play the Edmonton Oilers, the Vegas Golden Knights, and then finish off the week, which should be a win against the Ottawa Senators. So the next 2 games for the Winnipeg Jets are very crucial if they want to hang on and battle to get at least home ice advantage heading into the playoffs. So 2 crucial games against the Edmonton Oilers and Vegas Golden Knights. But just looking at those three losses in a row now, like each game had a different factor as to why they lost. Number one, you go to look at the New Jersey game. They lost 4-1, 3 power play goals against and an empty netter. So they got in trouble with the penalties in that one. The 6-3 loss against the Islanders, multiple defensive breakdowns in front of Hellebuck, and then eventually it was a 6-1 game. It was too late for them to come back. And then the 3-0 loss against the Capitals. There was no high danger scoring chances for the Jets, and they made it very easy for Charlie Lindgren to make those to produce that shutout for the Capitals, who are now in a playoff spot. So I'm not worried by any means. But Winnipeg has 11 games to clean up their act because they're either facing the Colorado Avalanche or Dallas Stars in the first round, and those teams are skyrocketing, playing their best hockey right now. So they need to clean up those things that I just mentioned.
Two things right away jump off the page for me, Steele, after your comments. By the way, I'm feeling them. It's an interesting angle here because both Colorado and Winnipeg were victims of overworked goalies last season.
Yeah.
And now, at this time of the year, I don't want to say that's what's going on for the Winnipeg Jets, but you can't help but feel that was going to come into play for perhaps both of these teams. So that's just something I wanted to bring up. And number two, this Winnipeg Jets team needs to tighten it up on special teams. You know, I've brought this up many times over the course of the last 2 years. Going into the postseason, you need to have special teams cooking. And I don't just mean power play. You got to have a good unit on the PK and on the PP. And the Winnipeg Jets do not have that. They are also outside the top half of the league in goals scored. Yeah. So you're highlighting that lack of offensive punch, which to me doesn't make sense given the talent and the balance in the top 9. And we love all the moves. Kevin Cheveldayoff is right up there in the mix with Jim Nill and all the other GMs that you and I like to throw praise on. But seriously, looking at their power play, they're 22nd best on the power play. That's not going to cut it in the playoffs, Steele. You know that. And how about on the penalty kill? 25th best. They're going to need to tighten it up in a hurry because if they have to go up against either of those teams in the first round, right now I'm going to heavily favor both the Dallas Stars and the Colorado Avalanche.
And that's something that a lot of us, not just you and I, have talked about. The Winnipeg Jets have struggled to score in the first round of the playoffs. Like, this is a team, along with Toronto Maple Leafs and so many others, that just can't get it done in the postseason. The Winnipeg Jets are one of them. No matter how good they are, their top dogs don't end up performing on a nightly basis, and they end up exiting the postseason in the first round. So again, they need to tighten up everything that we just mentioned. Obviously, the penalties is a huge thing for them. Either the power play and the special teams, of course. Let's get over to a guy who has not had trouble scoring of recently, Alex Ovechkin. He's been absolutely unreal. I'm just throwing it, because I was looking at stats earlier this morning, and you were going through Alex Ovechkin. I mean, it's unbelievable that he's doing this now. And I mean, just a month ago or 2 months ago, we didn't think that he was going to hit 20 goals, let alone maybe possibly get 30. So this is incredible for Ovechkin. I'm just going to throw numbers your way. He had 9 goals, 31 points at the end of January. Since February 1st, he's played 23 games. He's scored 17 goals and has recorded 27 points in those 23 games. Washington is 7-3-0 in their last 10, and Ovechkin is willing his way into the playoffs right now. So I got to throw it out there because I traded for him. I put a lot of pressure on him to do something for my fantasy team, and he's going to be a keeper of mine, even though he's 37 years old heading into next year.
Hey, it's just one of those things. And me, Steele, I bring up the fact that, men's are a little bit longer in the tooth over here. I'm in my mid-30s. I love the fact that this generation was led by two of the best to ever do it in Alex Ovechkin and Sidney Crosby. And when those two go, it's just good for hockey. It's good for hockey fans. You don't even need to be a fan of Alex Ovechkin or the Washington Capitals. Seeing him cook, I don't know if you saw him celebrate in front of his boys on the glass.
That was a special moment.
Just good for him. And this is what happens, though, when you pour your life, your blood, sweat, and tears into every single shift. You can never say Alex Ovechkin has ever sold out on a single shift. This guy is balls to the wall every single time he steps on the ice. He's one of the best to ever do it. And we're going to slide right into the second best goal scorer conversation in the NHL, because I think right now it's fair to say it's Austin Matthews.
Yeah.
But we might be talking about Alex Ovechkin a little bit more after the break. That's teased to the next segment. We're going to talk about big-time bets. We're going to hit you with an update on the Florida Panthers, 2 of their key pieces. However, today's episode is brought to you by Sleeper. We're well past the halfway point in the NHL season. And regardless of where your favorite team is at in the standings, you need to be checking out daily fantasy hockey on Sleeper to be winning big. It's the official daily fantasy app of the Locked On NHL Network. Sleeper is our number one choice for daily sports, of course, daily fantasy hockey. With Sleeper, you can win 100 times your cash in daily fantasy hockey contests. Use promo code LOCKEDONNHL and you'll get up to $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. That's code LOCKEDONNHL. See Sleeper's terms of use for details and locational availability.
Easter's in full bloom at Whole Foods Market with great deals on spiral cut bone-in ham and leg of lamb, both crowd pleasers. Round out your spread with quiche, deviled eggs, and delicious catering platters from Prepared Foods. Oh, and remember to pick up a Whole Foods Market Bunny cake from the bakery. Strapped for time? They cater too, with delicious options available without the effort. Find hundreds of Easter deals and delights now at Whole Foods Market.
And thank you so much for making the Locked On Fantasy Hockey Podcast your first listen every single day. If you're watching Fox Sports or ESPN on your TV all day, you have to turn the volume down all the time. Make the switch to Locked On Sports Today, a free 24/7 sports streaming channel programmed for you every day to bring you the biggest stories without all the screaming. Locked On Sports Today brings you can't miss analysis, opinions, and news streaming 24/7 on YouTube or the free Amazon Fire TV channel app. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. Thank you so much for tuning in for today's episode. Continue to hit the subscribe, the follow button, leave a 5-star review. Let us know how you're doing. If you made the playoffs in your fantasy league, if you didn't, what went wrong, what went right, let us know in the comments below on the YouTube channel or DM us on Twitter. Over to the second best goal scorer in the NHL, because it is properly right to say that Austin Matthews is by far the best goal scorer in the NHL right now. But I'll throw it over to you. Who do you have as the second best goal scorer? Because I've actually got a list here. I've got 6 guys in order. Of who I think that I would put there. But I'm throwing it over to you first.
Well, the reason we're talking about this first and foremost, Zach Hyman gets a 50-piece.
Yeah.
Sam Reinhart gets a 50-piece. So that's impressive in and of itself because, number one, as much as I do like both of those players, those are by far both of their best seasons, and they're impressive and they're noteworthy. That's just number one. Credit due to both. Also, Steele, if you got lucky enough to draft either of those players, because, you expected good production from especially Zach Hyman, but getting one of those players, I say this a lot, when seasons shake out like this and you look up to the top of your leaderboard in your leagues, almost guaranteed at least one or two of Sam Reinhart or Zach Hyman are on the top few teams. So that's just how it works out. So kudos to those GMs. Now, with that said, it's Matthews right now, but you can't help but give a lot of love to Ovechkin. So I'll start there very quickly.
Okay.
Because right now especially, he's definitely right back in that conversation. And when he has as many goals and the accolades and the ability to shoot the puck that he does, I know he's on his way out. I understand most of this season was his by far most disappointing. Those have to be said. But he is still one of the best goal scorers in the league. Is he the second best? No, because in my opinion, it's David Pastrnak. That's the other name I had on this list. Kudos to Reinhart and Zach Hyman. They're not the second best goal scorers in the league. Not in my opinion. They're having great years, Steele, but I'll leave it at this. David Pastrnak is the guy I'm taking number 2, and Alex Ovechkin, when he's on his game, is definitely still in that mix as well, in my opinion.
Yeah, just off of Sam Reinhart and Zach Hyman, I mean, these are two guys who just scored 30 plus goals for the first time last year or 2 years ago, let alone 50. They haven't even hit 40 before this season. They both get 50 in the same night. So I'm with you. I don't think Zach Hyman, his goals come right in front of the net. I mean, he's got 50 goals. I'm going to have to review
count the
tape.
same way, but
I know they count the same. You
can't compare that to how Pastrnak shoots the puck. So I'm with
That's
you.
what I'm saying. Yeah. I'm going to have to review the tape, but go back and watch all 50 goals. How many of them?
A lot of them are tap-ins.
In front of the net and tap-ins? Probably
from McDavid?
over 50% of them. So I'm with you. I don't think Zach Hyman and Sam Reinhart, even though they're having wonderful seasons this year, they're not the second. I'm with you. I have David Pastrnak second. It was a flip-flop decision between second and third, but I put David Pastrnak second.
I'm intrigued.
I've got Nathan McKinnon third. Nathan McKinnon to me, I didn't put Alex Ovechkin on this list that I just put up myself just because of the season he's had so far.
I don't think I agree with that, but I understand the take. This year, but
this is the list that I have. I went Matthews, Austin Matthews, David Pastrnak, Nathan McKinnon, Nikita Kucherov, Leon Draisaitl. That's the order of goal scorers I have right now.
I would have to dig into Kucherov's numbers because I'm thinking he's a little bit more of a playmaker than the pure goal scorer
No
that I'm
question.
Okay.
He is more of a playmaker than he is a goal scorer. But this guy, let me bring up the stats on Nikita Kucherov.
317 goals in 714 career games is nothing to shake a stick at. But I think when I then pull back up anyway, he deserves to be on any kind of list you're talking about offense because he's an absolute magician. So I don't think we can sit here and nitpick Nikita Kucherov. Also, when he's got 123 points and leading the NHL on a very special season, and actually, not to get off on a tangent, because we will hit you with these updates about the Florida Panthers and our big-time bets for Tuesday. However, Steele, I wrote an article today on the top 10 Stanley Cup threats, and I had to put the Tampa Bay Lightning at number 9. When you have Nikita Kucherov going there at the rate he is, you have Andrei Vasilevsky, I know on a bad down year, but he can steal a series, and you got Victor Hedman doing his thing. You can't write off this team, and a big reason has to do with how good Nikita Kucherov is. So why don't you just ream off your list one more time? Because I do think it's clear right now it's Matthews and Pasternak. You want a goal, those are the two guys you're going to.
Matthews, Pasternak, McKinnon, Kucherov, Draisaitl. Those are the top 5 that I have.
Can't
but
hate
Alex Ovechkin should be in there because of how he's played over the last 2 months.
Thank you. And 20 years.
But all 5 of those guys, I believe, have over 40 goals this season.
Yep. Nathan McKinnon. Those top 3 solidified. I'm loving it. Quick update on the Florida Panthers, and then we'll get to bet Steele. How about this, though? This is the best team in the NHL. That's a fact. And the Florida Panthers are proving, and I've said this time and time again, that last year's run to the Cup was no fluke. And I don't think there's a better team.
It was a fluke at the time, though.
Okay, fine. But now they're proving that it wasn't. Alexander Barkov and Aaron Ekblad are reportedly expected to return to the lineup as soon as tonight. Barkov has missed 3 games. Ekblad has missed 6 games. But this is huge for them at this time of year, and we spoke about this last week or 2 weeks ago when we learned about this. This is a team that's played a lot of hockey. If this means that some of these guys can get a little bit of time off to recoup, get the bodies tight, get everything right, that could be huge come the postseason, which I think, Steele, this team is set for another deep run.
Yeah, they are definitely set for another deep run, whether it's against the Detroit Red Wings in the first round, whether it's against the Toronto Maple Leafs in the first round. We're not going to get into that.
I got a bad feeling if that's the case, pal. I'll just say that. I'm going to say Panthers in 6.
Panthers in 6. We'll have to wait and see. We'll do all of our pre-playoff predictions before the first game of the playoffs. So we'll get to that in the next couple of weeks. But let's get over to big time bets, where the money is made, if that's all right with you, Flip.
Yes, sir.
Big time bets. A lot of games on the schedule, a lot of juicy matchups, a lot of in-division games as well.
Yeah. Juicy board.
For those who embrace the impossible, the Defender 110 is up for the adventure. This iconic vehicle has been redefined with a modern design that lets you go further and do more. The exterior is reimagined with compelling proportions and precise detailing, complemented by an interior built with integrity. The Defender capability is legendary. Whether you're facing off-road challenges or harsh weather conditions, its durability has been tested to the extreme. Powerful innovations like the intuitive driver display and award-winning infotainment system keep you connected. Innovative camera technologies deliver unobstructed views and effortless maneuvering. And robust cargo capacity means more room for your gear. Ready for a wide range of adventures, the Defender family features the 2-door Defender 90, the Defender 110, and the Defender 130, which seats up to 8. To drive the Defender is to explore with greater confidence. Push what's possible with a vehicle made to go further. The Defender 110. Learn more at LandRoverUSA.com/Defender.
You can make money the hard way becoming a bullfighter, or save money the easy way with Xfinity Mobile. It sure beats making money as a human cannonball. Now through March 21st, learn how existing Xfinity customers can get a free line of unlimited intro for a year when they buy one unlimited line. That's hundreds of dollars in savings on your wireless bill. Visit XfinityMobile.com today. Restrictions apply. Xfinity Mobile requires Xfinity Internet. Reduced speeds after 20 gigabytes of usage per line. Data thresholds may vary.
Thank you so much for making the Locked On Fantasy Hockey Podcast your first listen every single day. Continue to hit the subscribe, the follow button, leave a 5-star review. We appreciate all that love and support you show us. Monday through Friday, 7 o'clock in the morning is when you can find our episodes. So once again, thank you so much for tuning in for today's episode. Over to Big Time Bets for Tuesday's big betting board. Flip, over to you. First pick of the night.
I haven't done this in a very long time, Steele, but I am absolutely feeling this board. And maybe it's because I had a few late night parlays over the weekend. Shout out to the Purdue Boilermakers. However, seriously, I'm really loving this board. And I'm going to start. I have 2 picks and I have a same game parlay. That's how much I'm liking it. So why don't I just start with my first one, because we just spoke about him all episode long. The Washington Capitals have the Detroit Red Wings. And in his career, Ovi, guess what? Just like any other Eastern Conference club, feasted on the Detroit Red Wings. 32 career regular season games, 25 Genos for Ovi. He's going to pop another one. This is just what happens when he goes on these heaters. First pick, Ovi, anytime goal. I'm loving that one. And Steele, I'm going to get to my lock of the night right away because I have a same game parlay. I'll wrap up after your picks. Maple Leafs, lock of the night. Talk about it a little bit, because that game on Saturday was a statement victory. And I know things got away from them a little bit, but that was the best 2 periods of hockey that I've seen from the Maple Leafs. And I'm not here for all this West Coast hate on a meaningless game and Toronto almost blowing it. Meaningless game for whom? What are you talking about out there? It was a big win. I love the performance. And I just want to say this. New Jersey rolling into town. It's the perfect opportunity for this team to go on a heater at the most opportune time of year. And how about this, Steele? 9-0-1. The Toronto Maple Leafs in the last 10. They have dominated New Jersey. And I say they continue that tonight with my lock of the night.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I've got 2 picks from this game, a player prop. First pick, though, Maple Leafs on the puck line against the Devils.
Yes,
9-0-1, like you said. The puck line in the matchups between the Leafs and the Devils haven't hit over 50%. I believe they've been pretty close games. They have hit a few times, but just the way the Maple Leafs are playing right now, a tough loss against Carolina, just 2-1. But, I mean, the Devils are very bad defensively without Dougie Hamilton, and the goaltending has still been a problem. I'm going to take a chance, take the Maple Leafs on the puck line. Parlay that with Matthews anytime goal. He's going to get back on the score sheet. I'll just rattle off my last 2 picks as well.
Do it.
Panthers and Bruins under 6.5 in this matchup. The last 2 have gone under the number. Typically it goes over, but this could be we're 2 weeks, 3 weeks away from playoff hockey. They're getting into the mix of they're getting into the atmosphere. 22 days. So 3 weeks away from playoff hockey.
Who's counting?
They're everybody, every hockey fan's counting. But
can't wait.
Panthers, Bruins under 6.5. That's my third pick.
Love
and
that.
Lock of the night. I love this pick so much. Jake Gensel, anytime goal against the Pittsburgh Penguins back in Pittsburgh. I'm absolutely feeling that one. He has been so good for the Carolina Hurricanes. I know he's been feeding. He's been pumping up those apples. Pumping up the assist stats, but I feel a Jake Gensel anytime goal. He knows the goaltenders. He knows the Pittsburgh Penguins, obviously. That's my lock of the night.
I'm loving that one. That's going on to my first 2 picks because, look, I can't help but take a peek at this Colorado Avalanche team at home against the Montreal Canadiens. The moves that the Avalanche made at the deadline, I also forgot that they brought in Yakov Trenin. Trenin has been a nice little ad for them.
Did you see that stat?
Yes, about how he hasn't lost a game in like 2 months or something.
Yeah, he hasn't lost since like February 2nd or February 4th.
Yeah, and look, hey, middle stat, Sean Walker fitting right into already. Look, Nichushkin, Rantanen, and McKinnon with Taves and Makar. That's got to be the best 5-player unit in the NHL. How are teams in the NHL going to deal with Makar, Rantanen, McKinnon, Nichushkin, who's a beast in the postseason, and Devin Taves, who brings the hammer? I'm telling you, this team is going to go on a prolonged run once again. I know I've thrown that out there for a few teams, but maybe we should tap into that. Colorado, this is a same-game parlay situation, Steele. 7-3-0 Colorado is against Montreal. Montreal is doo-doo right now. They have lost they have 1 win in their last 5 games. Here's the same game parlay, Steele. Cale Makar, anytime assist. He's an assist magician. Colorado on the money line. And give me the under here. I think Colorado smothers them. I say 5-1 Colorado, 4-1 Colorado. Montreal's season is way done. They're on the West Coast. This is a tough spot. Same game parlay time, baby. On top of those first 2 picks, Colorado, the under, and Cale Makar anytime assist. I'm telling you, Steele, we're having a big Tuesday night, pal.
Same game parlay for the Colorado Avalanche. I just got to mention this before we wrap up. It didn't work out the way I wanted to at the beginning of the season, but he has turned things around with the Colorado Avalanche and with his career. Jonathan Drouin has been absolutely fire. 46 points in 68 games this year. He's a +7. It's his best season since 2018-19 with the Montreal Canadiens, and he still has a chance to make a career high as he's only 7 points away with 11 games remaining in the season. He's on an absolute heater right now. He has 8 points in his last 4 games, including a game winner. He's been absolutely tremendous. So that should have been maybe a waiver wire ad that we forgot about. I'm not sure what he's rostered at on Yahoo, but Jonathan Drouin has just been really good for the Colorado Avalanche over the last couple of months.
You highlighted him, I think, maybe the first couple of episodes we talked about this new season. And how could we not, though? Because of the previous history with McKinnon, a new start, a good opportunity, and now finally, but maybe that's part and parcel with everything that's happened with Drouin in his career.
Yeah.
He has been one of those players you have to be very patient with.
He was the Pierre-Luc Dubois before Pierre-Luc Dubois.
I'm pretty much given up on Pierre-Luc Dubois. I also don't know what happened in that game the other night where he basically cheap-shotted the guy and then he turtled and wouldn't fight.
Was it Ryan Hartman, my boy?
Yeah, Ryan Hartman's a bit of a goon. So I don't know. I didn't see that whole game or play, but I'm starting to get really fed up with Pierre-Luc Dubois' game because the guy has all the talent and skills in the world, and he's just a waste of space. Anyway, don't want to get down that rabbit hole, Steele. There's a lot more time to be negative. The Leafs are about to head into the playoffs, pal, so get on your negativity pants. However, hope today was a fire episode. Take us away, brother.
Thank you again so much for making the Locked On Fantasy Hockey Podcast your first listen every single day. Once again, go check out Locked On Sports Today's YouTube channel, the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel. They are here for you every single second of every single day with the top sports stories of the day with local experts of Locked On, plus the national shows covering every single league. You can also find it on the free Amazon Fire TV channel app. So make sure you go tune in to both of those, subscribe to the channel and subscribe to this channel. Thank you so much for tuning in for today's episode with Flip and I. Have a great day out there. Good luck with all your bets, and we shall see you back here again tomorrow.
Sometimes your cat can be a mystery, like when they get so attached to certain cardboard boxes. But when you use Fresh Step cat litter, there's no question that you're making your cat happy, thanks to amazing odor control. Fresh Step clumping cat litters prevent stinky crumbles and make scooping easy by locking in liquid and odor immediately. That means you can keep your house clean and your bond strong. There's no mystery here. Find Fresh Step cat litter at a store near you. Fresh Step is a registered trademark of the Clorox Pet Products Company. Certain trademarks used under license from the Procter & Gamble Company or its affiliates.
You can make money the hard way becoming a bullfighter, or save money the easy way with Xfinity Mobile. It sure beats making money as a human cannonball. Now through March 21st, learn how existing Xfinity customers can get a free line of unlimited intro for a year when they buy one unlimited line. That's hundreds of dollars in savings on your wireless bill. Visit XfinityMobile.com today. Restrictions apply. Xfinity Mobile requires Xfinity Internet. Reduced speeds after 20 gigabytes of usage per line. Data thresholds may vary.
Hey, Prime members, you can listen to this Locked On podcast ad-free on Amazon Music. Download the Amazon Music app today.